First of all, I got to thank Father Meyer for this hat. I mean, the things he does for our program, and the 12th man tailgating made me a personal hat, so I wanted to give them a shout out. I was able to took a moment this morning early to walk through all the trucks and people waiting to get into tailgating, and I can tell you this, I appreciate the loyalists and the people that were here, and they were loud and they were supportive. Tom Blattner, who's been a great supporter, just mentioned to me that the women's volleyball team, NDSU volleyball team, was unbelievable for 4 quarters and into the game. And so I appreciate them and Coach Lopez's girls. Just to reflect on the game, obviously the start wasn't what we wanted, but, again, just to fight back, analytics, everybody has opinions and this, that, and the other thing, but you throw 18 to 22-year-olds out there, some 23-year-olds, and they got to handle these emotional swings and the human element of it. And Joe Brashon, our special teams, provided a spark, and we never looked back from that moment, really. And, the Jackson's been unbelievable this year, and he's got a bright future. I felt like gold zone offense just not good enough. Third down offense, obviously 1 for 10, not good enough. 2 for 2 on fourth down is big. And then tackling and just our leverage and keeping the cup. Run defense needs to improve in a hurry here. Now we were, placing our defenders in certain spots to obviously take away their explosive pass game, but it's still way too much in the run game. Like, just disappointed in that a little bit. The long run, just a complete bust, misfit from a player on defense that has to be better. But we're a +2 in the turnover margin, and those things matter. And I thought Jake Landry and the offense shifting gears. They deployed everybody up there to stop the run, and Coach Holt, that's not surprising. He's going to try to make you one-dimensional, and they did that, but our pass game was good enough to produce some things. And just told the guys, we'll have plenty of time to reflect on this and to try to coach and improve, but, we're going to enjoy this. It's a big win, and are we looking on to Mercer? Is that who won? So we'll get started on them. With that, I'll open up for questions.
How do you evaluate today with all that? You scored half 100. You hold them to – you win by 3 touchdowns. I guess, how do you evaluate how a game went?
Sometimes we just – I think, being at NDSU, right, the standards are high and perfection, and we're chasing that every week. We won by 20 points, and that's just no small feat. And I told everybody they were explosive. They had good running backs. They had good receivers, and they were a good offense. And they did a lot of different things that complemented what ended up being a pretty good run game today. And it's a good victory. The bottom line, it's a good victory. It's hard to win in college football, period. And I'm so excited for our guys that we get the opportunity to be together for another week and get to prepare and play in the Fargo Dome. And I really think, our guys will respond well and we'll get better.
But Jackson's kick return touchdown. Just what did you see from that moment on, and kind of what did that change for you guys?
I was disappointed their kicker was a little better than I thought, because I told the guys this morning I think special teams would be the difference. And you're right, I believe in where we're at with those units right now. We're explosive. And then they were kicking it deep. I said, Joe, you tell him if he squares one up to bring it out. And he squared it up, and he just and TK Marshall had a great block. Jackson has great instincts. I don't know how he knew he could outrun the kicker, because I thought he was going to have to cut back. And it's just a big play. A huge momentum shift. I thought, it got the crowd back into it. Our sidelines didn't have this, like we got punched in the throat look, like, holy smokes, we got to go here. And there was some real joy, and we settled in, and we played a pretty good 2 quarters of football in the second and third.
Do so well defensively against your guys?
Everybody was up there. A lot of movement. We got to look and we got to keep digging on our tendencies. The 1 3rd down, we ran off tackle to a power pair of 2 tight ends, and they had a really good movement call. We got to be better securing gaps. I think we're getting to be a little bit too much man-oriented on some plays that can be man-oriented or gap. We probably have to shift gears and be gap-oriented. That needs to get fixed. And then the turnover – I don't know why my mind just went there. But 3rd downs, the 1 turnover and the gold zone offense needs to be better. And it has been better all year. I expect it to be better next week.
Defense had some hiccups, but you also had a strip sack by Logan. I think Toby tipped the guy's arm to get the interception, and Logan had to pick 6. So in the end, it's not bad.
No, I think it is because we're so darn hard on our team, right? I'm hard on them. We're hard on It's that difficult to play defense in this world nowadays. And so, like, when you put an emphasis, now we are plus 19 in the turnover margin. You get 3 takeaways. Some of this stuff, it can overcome, a little bit of a bad performance against the run. Those takeaways are critical, Mike. I think that's an outstanding point. And it probably was the difference that this game didn't come down to a 10 or a 7-point game at the end.
You talked about Enock a lot this year. I think he had career-high 10 tackles. Do you think he kind of outdid himself today in some ways?
Well, the guy just keeps putting, Coach Bull used to have this theory called the pocket change theory. People that make good things happen and make good decisions, you're putting change in your pocket. The guys that, make poor decisions, don't make plays, they're pulling change out of their pocket, right? Equity. Consistent improvement leads to credibility and trust. He's a fighter. He's a competitor. He's a warrior. I like that guy. I like the direction that he's headed. And Enock will continue to get better. That's really good because he had some tough plays in space. In one-on-one situations, he got the ball to the ground. My hat goes off to him. We'll need him to play great next week again.
We talk about him every week, but Cam was pretty good again today. Some of the throws he made.
He's a competitive. He's interesting. I said, was that 2 guys off the edge? Yes, sir. Why don't you hand it off? Because I can beat the guy. I said, you threw a pick. Put the damn ball in my hands. And so we had one of those moments. I mean, he's feisty, and he's competitive. And quite frankly, we missed, a couple more opportunities that I think, you have to pull in the 50-50 ball. I thought he was pretty accurate on some situations downfield where there was some contact and things like that. He played well today. He really did. He was pretty gritty, and he handled the run game wasn't what we thought it would or what we wanted to be, what we wanted to get out of it. But he still put us in some pretty decent calls, and protection-wise, he handled some things.
So how good of a deal was a $20 ticket for this?
That's a great deal. Listen, it don't matter. The people that showed up were phenomenal, and we appreciate them and love them. And it was pretty cool. I got invited on a couple mobile homes today. I got to sit in a truck with a few people, and that doesn't affect any preparation or anything because on Saturday morning it's a players' game, and I just, maybe I should do that more often. But I want the people to know that we do care about them and we appreciate their support.
How'd you health-wise come out, injury-wise?
Rocket doesn't look good with Jake Rock. We're a little bit beat up, battered. Alta Peter's trying to get back at linebacker. He's just dealing with this lower back stuff where it's right. But it's playoff football, and it just no one's going to write a story. Well, NDSU falls short, because they had injuries and they you know what I mean? Like, we got to keep answering the bell. I just told some young guys, I said, you better start cowboying up with your preparation on your own because your number might get called and the Bison expect you to be ready when you get a chance. Yeah, Neem will get more clarification on it. But, the preliminary test on the field, because of the brace being on, it's hard to get an indicator. And so once they got the brace on, they've got some assumptions. And it's unfortunate. I know the seniors tonight, the parents are, putting on a little thing for the seniors. And, we're doing some recruiting. But it's too bad. Jake would have been a heck of a story to see how this would have finished. It is a heck of a story. It still is. You play football long enough, injuries are part of it.
Breaks a national record, gives some love to Steady Eddie.
Yeah, he's accurate, man. Again, one of those kids that I've really appreciated. The longer I'm around him, the more I enjoy him. He does. Those guys work hard at their craft. I don't think I go down and I work out. It don't look like it, but I get a workout in. Number one, so I can be around the freshmen while meetings are going on. But then number two, you gain an appreciation for all the support staff, and we kind of took care of them with a gift. All the stuff those equipment girls do, but the kickers and punters are out there banging balls for an hour and a half before practice, and they work at it really hard. And Griffin, I'm so happy for him. It's that's no small feat. Like I told you guys last week, or Jeff, some of these records are going to be hard to beat with the COVID situation. A couple more.
McCaslin played a lot more today. It seemed like we'll start maybe.
You know what? Just in the middle of the game, I got the similar question. Why did he get rotated in? Or not because I'm happy for Kelton. I just don't know what happened in the middle of that. If it was a situation where they're playing more out of open sets, which would lend itself to a little bit more of a pass rush or a little bit quicker player than, say, Will Mozart. I don't know if that was the exchange. They weren't playing much with two tight ends. You got to look at the tape and see how he did. I'm happy that we're diving into our depth.
Kyber obviously gets rid of the ball quickly, but when Eli finally got to him there towards I think it was the third quarter where he brought him down, just kind of how much does that help kind of close out the game when you're finally
Well,
able to-
no, it's awesome. I mean, they were running a bunch of screen stuff, a little bit of some option things that gets the ball out of his hands quickly. But again, I'll say it, their O-line probably played a little bit better than. I shouldn't say that. I thought we would play better up front and affect the quarterback earlier in the game. But I thought they did a pretty good job. They came in well prepared. That's a well-coached football team. I think that's going to be a program that's going to continue to get better. I really believe that. I really appreciated our conversation with Coach Patterson, pregame. They've got some dudes, and they got a plan and how they want to attack this, and it was interesting just talking to them about scholarship allocation and what they're doing and getting some insight on that, and they've got some players.
Cam, how do you evaluate today's game? You win by 3 touchdowns, you scored 50, but does it feel like you guys played really well today?
No, it doesn't feel like we played well. We had some good drives, but we didn't start very fast. I thought all of us would learn our lesson after South Dakota that we needed to start faster, but no, it took us a while. I think we all were kind of tensed up and tight a little bit, and maybe that's just because it's first playoff game, but most of us have played, in a playoff game, so we shouldn't be like that. But we'll be better next week for sure.
How much did Jackson's kick return just jumpstart everything?
That was a big spark. I think we were down 17-3 at the time, and to put us back in the game, I think we all just kind of relaxed a little bit when that happened.
Logan, same thing, just after it's 17-3, you feel like you probably got punched in the face a couple times. What did that do to jumpstart things?
Yeah, it did. They kind of marched down the field the first 2 drives on us, caught us on our heels. Same thing, we need to start faster. We know we can't get away with these types of things as we get deeper into the playoffs. And so it's just going to be an emphasis of starting fast, which we've done a really good job of, as sometimes this year and other times not. And so we need to put together a full 60 minutes of Bison football, of Code Green football, in order to be successful. It's fun when Big O's putting up 51 points for us, but we know as we continue to go through the playoffs that specifically on defense we're going to have to step up.
Describe the strip stack.
Yeah, it was fun. We had ran that pressure a couple times already in the first half, and I think it was the third quarter, so I had a good feel for the quarterback's cadence at that point in the game, and so I had an idea what was coming, and I knew at that point in the game how to time up the cadence, and so I was able to get a good jump on the snap, and I was able to hold my disguise to get the slide going the other way from the O-line for the protection, and so I was free off the edge, and as I was going, I was just, please don't throw it yet, and thankfully he waited just long enough to where I was able to make a play, and yeah, it was a big momentum change for that game.
Well, we talked last week about how efficient their passing game is, but then they were able to run the ball as well as they did. Kind of what do you think went into that? Their just ability to run the ball so well today.
Yeah, they obviously have a really, really talented running back. We made a big emphasis, obviously, on their passing game because we knew the talent that the quarterback and the wide receivers had. And I think at times we played well of stopping the pass, stopping the run, and obviously at times we didn't. But it just goes back to fundamentals, getting off blocks, hitting up our fits, and tackling at the end of the day. And that's going to be a big emphasis this week at practice is tackling. We missed too many tackles, we know that, and we're going to have to get that improved for next week.
The big game for you is kind of, does this kind of feel like a culmination of a season's worth of work there for a career high in tackles today?
I personally thought I didn't play good. When I got called for the press conference, I was kind of confused because I was like, there's guys like Logan Kopp, Marcus Gully, Eli Mostart. Like, playing with those guys makes my job a lot easier to just find open fits. So I was kind of confused at first, but overall, like, when they told me the numbers I had, I was surprised because I was playing with really good players, like playing with guys like Logan, Eli, Marcus. It makes my job a lot easier because people not expect me to come out and do what I do, so it kind of like allows me to play free.
Either you two guys on defense, the fans, could you hear them? I mean, 10,000, but does it sound like more?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty loud, especially after the kickoff return from Jackson. We're coming back out on the field it felt, and I think we saw it affect that offense. They had a few false starts. They had a snap go over the quarterback's head, I think right after that touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. And so that was a huge point in the game. And it doesn't matter if we have 10,000 or 18,000. Bison Nation shows up, and we appreciate that. And they truly were an advantage for us today. And I know we'll continue to be throughout the rest of the playoffs.
You guys have been one of the better third down teams offensively this year. You're just 1 of 10 today. What do you feel like you maybe need to shore up for next week?
I just saw that 1 for 10. Yeah. I don't know if we've had that bad of a third down percentage in a long time. It's something that we emphasize, situational football, scoring touchdowns in the red zone and being really good on third down, staying on the field to help out our defense. I guess they did a really good job of bringing pressure from the field, and it's my job to get us in the perfect run call. And there was times where they showed it too late where I couldn't, or I didn't have enough time on the play clock to adjust and get us in the right run. So they did a really good job on defense of stopping the run. I think we only had 100 yards rushing today, which is not like us. But we'll all do a better job of, hitting our landmarks and putting the ball where it needs to go when we get in third and long and third and extra.
Logan, you ever have a fumble recovery and a pick six in a game ever in your life?
I have not. That was a first for me. So it was a lot of fun. Kind of like what Enock was talking about. When you have 10 guys playing around you that are as talented as the guys on this defense are, it opens up opportunities for the rest of us. So I'm fortunate enough to make plays because of what my teammates are able to do, and so I owe it all to them.
Cam, how eager to get another game, to have you played like this, but you got another chance to play now next Saturday?
Just very grateful. Being a senior and you're down 17-3 in the Dome, it's like a fight or flight mode that goes into effect, and we decided to fight and worked our way out of it, and I'm just blessed to have another opportunity to play in the Dome next week.
Did it feel like the Incarnate Word game a little bit, that how that game started that was it similar at all?
Maybe a little bit, yeah. I think we had more fans at that one, but but no, yeah, it felt a little bit like that. But I knew, that our defense was going to make adjustments. We were going to be better on that side of the ball, and offensively, we were close on a few plays. We just needed to connect.
It seemed like you came up hobbled a little bit at some point. Did you start to feel better as the game went on?
Yeah, they were getting after me. They were pinning their ears back and bringing 6 or 7 guys on a blitz. So it's just a part of the position. You just got to stay in there and try to make throws. But no, I'll be good.
How do you grade the defensive performance, Logan? You had some miscues with the big run and stuff, but then you had 3 turnovers and a pick 6. It was just sort of a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, a lot of good, a lot of bad. We'll come back on Monday, watch the film, and see what we did well, see what we didn't do well, see what we need to improve on for next week. I can already tell you that our 2 biggest emphases going into next week will be tackling and communication. I think those are 2 areas that we might have lacked at certain points throughout the game today. Just finishing on tackles and then just making sure that all 11 guys are on the same page every play. I think we had a little bit of miscommunication here and there, which probably costed us some big plays and some points. And so if we're able to clean those 2 areas up, I think we'll improve a lot for the future.